Welcome to We Love Deck Builders, the podcast dedicated to empowering deck industry pros to construct a thriving business. Join your host, April Edwards, founder of Deck Builder Marketers, as she brings you a cheat sheet of industry secrets and strategies that promise to boost your deck building business. Whether you're a battle-tested pro or just starting your entrepreneurial journey, this podcast is your arsenal for expert insights and actionable advice. So tune in and let's carve a path to business growth, one insight at a time.
All right, so 26 minutes in, welcome back to the We Love Deck Builders podcast. This is the DeckExpo Series Edition. I'm your host, April Edwards, owner and growth strategist at Deck Builder Marketers. We're the #1 growth partner for the industry's top deck builders. We don't just run campaigns, we own your success. We really are here to help you grow, dominate, and thrive. Enough about us. Today, we're really thrilled to welcome Sean Collinsgru, founder and owner of Premier Outdoor Living, to the show. He is a leader in high-quality outdoor living, specializing in custom decks, patios, and landscaping that combine innovative design, craftsmanship, and functionality. He's very highly recognized, and there's the list could go on. I will say that he is known for delivering exceptional client experiences and has been recognized as a Decorator Certified Elite for his work in the industry. But on this episode, Sean will be sharing insights from his upcoming DeckExpo session, choosing the right pressure-treated wood for your project, giving you guys a sneak peek at what you can expect to learn. So, Sean, welcome to the show. About 28 minutes in.
That was such a lovely intro for me. And I have to ask, did you use AI to write that intro?
I'm sure. Yes. Natalia helped me with all this.
It did a good job. It was accurate on all the details. Yeah, really excellent intro for me. I appreciate it. I don't know if I deserved all that, but let's talk about DeckExpo. It's coming up before we know it, and I'm excited about it.
Yeah, we've really jammed on a few things that we're looking forward to this year. But before we do that, you got to tell us, you got to give us an intro. Tell us about you and Premier Outdoor Living.
Yeah. So I have been the owner of Premier Outdoor Living for a little over 10 years and started doing backyards just kind of by happenstance. I've always been, I guess, a self-described creative person. And before this, I was doing landscaping, just cutting grass and, doing mulch and cleanups and all that kind of stuff. And had my own business doing that. And then was not very good at that type of business because you really have to scale and be very, very organized because it's margins are very low. I wasn't very good at that. So it was a very small company. And then I got the opportunity to do a backyard project and I just loved it. Something about it was just I could see myself doing this, the design aspect, the just seeing something come to life that you created, I just thought was so cool. So that's how I got into it. Immediately after that first job we did, I sold all the lawn stuff and got rid of that company and started Premier Outdoor Living with no experience or prospects for work or anything. It probably didn't, looking back, it seems like, wow, that was probably not the best idea, but it felt like a good idea at the time. And, now I can say it worked out. So it's fine. But basically what we do is just, build backyards. A lot of them are kind of blank slate. We'll rip out everything they had and then come in, deck, roof structure, patio, landscaping, all that kind of stuff. And also make videos about it while we do it. Yeah. So another creative outlet during the creative outlet. So we're a pretty small company. We do 8 to 10 projects a year and we have fun doing it. That's kind of that's the gist of it.
You've got a ton of followers. Tell us a little bit more about that. I know that you've spoken about social media and stuff before. I'm just really, and you've spoken and given advice on scaling businesses too, your deck business.
Yeah, look, I try not to speak on anything that I'm not qualified to speak on, which is most things. But yeah, social media kind of, again, it was something that I just sort of fell into. Like when I started the business in 2015, I didn't have a like much experience on how to build a whole lot of stuff. Nobody knew who I was because I just started the business. I had no portfolio or anything. So the one thing that I realized I could leverage as an advantage was I was just younger than most of the contractors in my area. And I was already on Facebook and Instagram just personally. So I was like, okay, I think this is going to be a great way to build this online reputation. And that's kind of how the whole thing started. My goal initially was, I didn't want to do just boring cookie cutter kind of backyards. I wanted to, do something that I felt like I could get creative with. And the idea was for the first year or two, I'm not going to worry about profits or anything like that. Just make enough to get by and try to build the coolest thing that I can, because we weren't getting a lot of jobs anyway. Nobody knew who we were, but focus on, am I going to be able to get a great finished picture of this project that we can then go and market that through our website and through social media to then get the projects like that where we can actually charge what it should cost. So that was kind of the idea. And I thought, using social media was the best way to do it. It was something I was already sort of familiar with just by using it personally, and did that for a couple of years. And then it kind of came up to another turning point in the business where things were really starting to pick up, and it was going well, and the reputation was starting to build, and everything was kind of working. And I was starting to explore like scaling the business and doing more projects. And I started doing that for a while, kind of exploring that route. And it was just a whole lot of stuff that I didn't love doing and I wasn't very good at. So it kind of led to another turning point where I decided, we're going to stay small. And the things I am good at, I think, are being creative, thinking outside the box a little bit, and and making these silly videos about building decks. So I decided we're going to keep the company small, and we're going to try to leverage social media even more by, doing YouTube content and stuff like that. And, I think everything that we've, built up to this point has come on the tails of realizing something else that I'm not good at. And I think that's like one of my strongest skills is being very, being able to confront all the things that I'm terrible at, and then steering away from those towards something that I'm more apt to do. So that's kind of how the social media stuff started, just by happenstance, and then realizing, maybe there's an opportunity to invest a little bit more time and effort into this, and instead of trying to scale the actual build side of the business, because it just wasn't something that I was super passionate about or had the skill set for. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much to unpack there. Thank you so much for that. There's a lot everybody could learn. I think the best part of what you said that is important for people to realize is the fact that you are willing to accept the things that you're not good at so that you could just really shine on the things that you are good at. And I always talk about delegation too, like delegate the things that you're not good at and focus on the things that bring you joy that only you can do too, right? Like, especially if you want to grow your business, you're the only one that is going to be able to focus on business strategy. Nobody else is going to be able to do that. So do you want to be like adding things to your website and, things that, like, or bookkeeping? Ugh.
Yeah.
So boring.
Yeah. Yeah. I think what I've realized is that a lot of people kind of go down this route of what they think building a business, especially a construction business, looks like. And it's, you start with one crew, you go to two, you go to three, all of that kind of stuff. And it's like this, kind of path that has been laid out by other construction companies. And it just seems like that's what the path is. I should just keep building it, get more crews, and then eventually I'll get to a place where I'm not doing much, or I'm going to be in a position where now I have the freedom that I was always looking for. And I think people don't realize that, what job they are building for themselves. Like, you're building this whole thing going in a certain direction. And what does that look like at the end? What does that position look like? It might be something that you don't enjoy and that you're not good at. And if you're not good at a lot of those things, you're not even going to get to the point of scaling the business where you can just completely step away. So luckily I realized that pretty early that I need to just lean on the few things that I'm good at and try to stay away from the things that get me into trouble. Like, a lot of things.
Trouble could be fun though, depending on what you're doing.
If you ask any, and you mentioned delegation, and delegation is so important when you're not good at certain things. I'm also not a great delegator. I have an amazing team around me, and they're so patient with me because I will meddle in what they're doing, and
Yeah,
but
guilty.
luckily they are very strong-willed people that say, "Sean, get out of my face right now."
Yeah.
And then I laugh and I say, "I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Well, I find I do the same thing, but it's because I would, I don't know if you agree, but I would assume that you're a natural, like you thrive on problem solving. So you see something and it's hard for you to not jump on it and try and work through it.
yeah, for sure. I either thrive on problem solving or problem starting. One or the other, depending on my mood probably, and if I'm bored. But yeah, I think there's always going to be stuff that you're good at and you're not good at, and developing a team around those weak spots is really important. And still, you might still have issues with delegating. Like, you might have the team built around you that can handle all these things, and still it can be hard for entrepreneurs to like get all of those things off of your plate. And for me, it's always a work in progress. I always have to like try to be conscious of it and not get in people's way, because in the end, it's just impeding their progress. And if I meddle with all the little stuff that they're doing, their end product doesn't turn out as good because I'm trying to put my 5 cents in there with stuff that I'm not really qualified to do. So
Yeah. So taking away from their ability to grow and shine, inefficient to people doing the same thing, and then taking you away from things that are probably more important for you to focus on.
yeah, 100%.
And I'm saying this because like I feel like you and I need a pact and to hold each other accountable for this. So my team listens in on the podcast. It's really important for them to learn. And so anyway, for all of my team members listening right now, Sean and we're taking an oath that we're going to try really hard to stay out of your way.
I'm going to try my best. I do try. If anybody from my team is listening right now, I try so hard. I can't help myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, part of the magic comes from that chaos. I'm convinced. So it is what it is.
We have a few questions here, really good questions, but there was something else that you said that I think is really important too, is that you built a business off of your passion, and you were so passionate about what you did that you wanted to make sure that really, I think in subconsciously, you really wanted that to be in the forefront. And the other thing is the fact that you knew that the most important thing to focus on was getting those really good images. Yeah. And I guess I just want to talk about how your business really evolves in different phases, and everybody wants the 50,000, not everybody, but a lot of people want the $50,000, $80,000 projects or whatever. But if you're just getting started, like sometimes you haven't earned that privilege yet. Like you need to, I tell people, I'm like, I mean, sometimes you need to go to Home Advisor and you need to pay for those leads because you just need to get work in the door and get reviews and get the pictures of the work. then you can you're building up your authority and the proof of what you do. Then you can go and start being more selective and things like that. But it's like you don't go from zero to hero overnight. And I think people everybody's looking for a silver bullet and things overnight. But there are phases to building a business. Would you agree?
Yeah, 100%. And that's probably one of the most common questions I get asked is like, how do I find these clients that, are going to let me do this? Like, how do you sell a deck inlay? Something really creative that's going to take a lot of time. And the answer is you don't in the beginning. Like nobody's going to buy something that they've never seen before, that they don't know if you can build it or not. Deep down, you're not really sure because you've never done it before. There's sacrifices that need to be made. And it's, I looked at it two ways. I could either just take whatever jobs come my way, like, build all the 12 by 12 pressure treated decks and, the boring plain patios, and then wait for these really cool opportunities to fall in my lap. That might take 10, 15, 20 years. Who knows? Or I could make a sacrifice in the beginning and say, I'm going to sacrifice the profit up front. And I'm going to just try to collect finished pictures of these projects that really tell a different story, that we are the person that you call when you want something really unique and different. And there's always going to be some sort of sacrifice. For me, I decided it was going to be the money. I can find some clients. They're not going to be, the clients that have $100,000 to spend. They might have 20,000, but I can look at that and say, okay, how long can I possibly afford to stay here? And what can I build for this that's going to be the coolest thing? Because that picture, that's the asset that I'm going after. So it's not like you're just giving away the work. It's marketing. It's marketing dollars, really. Like, I need this picture to build the business. I can't build the business without the portfolio. So that was the investment that I was willing to make. And because I was so passionate about it and I just enjoyed every moment of it, it didn't feel like a huge sacrifice. But you're either going to sacrifice the money in the beginning, you're going to sacrifice the time, or you're going to sacrifice the passion. Like, if you really want to build these cool creative projects, but you keep taking on the boring cookie cutter stuff, then it's just going to lead to more of that boring cookie cutter stuff.
Yeah.
And I thought, if I put myself in a position where I say no to one of those cookie cutter projects, it's just going to put more pressure on me, because now I don't have any other work. Now I really got to get creative. How am I going to sell these projects? How am I going to find clients that are looking for something different and creative? And that was the path that I chose, because no matter what, you're going to sacrifice something. Choose what, like somebody's, I don't know who says it, everything is hard. You got to choose your hard. Like, it's hard to, not make that much money and build these really cool projects, but it's also hard to, make what you're supposed to be making, but not get to build the cool projects that you're really passionate about. So, hopefully that answers.
No, I think it's
a little
great.
long-winded, but
it's great. And I actually want to ask you a question to help me through something. We work with deck builders all across the country, and we work with them for several years. I mean, we are an extension of their team and a partner. And, as any business owner would agree, like, if you have a client that's not happy, it's like the worst feeling, especially when you've done everything you possibly can. And so we had a client that just left. And it's like, we do, my team and I, we meet and we're like, okay, like, what could we have done different? Like, how did this happen?
yeah.
And, I think that this year's been a little bit different. Like, homeowners aren't spending as much money as they were. I mean, we had the election at the end of last year. We had, change in interest rates and, just a ton of things going on that have made things different. But this was a case also where they just didn't want to talk to anybody that didn't have a budget of $50,000.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I get that. But, a year ago, you weren't even visible. Like, nobody even knew who you were. So a year later, you're like, I get it. Like, that's what you want. And you hire an agency because you want to get exactly what you want. But there's so many more pieces to that. do you have killer images on your site that are really going to entice somebody to only work with you and spend that much money? Have you done those? Do you have a bulk of those projects? How do you sell? Like what's that experience like? And if you only got 30 reviews and your
Yeah.
competition has a lot more, like there's so many more things that go into this. It's not like you just hire an agency and it's like a silver bullet. We're just going to feed you the best of the best. Like it's a partnership and there's a lot of things at hand. So my question to you is, and I've spoken to other people about this too, like Luan from Deck Bros, he ranks for deck repair. Like he dominates for deck repair because he doesn't care. He's a salesman. Like he doesn't care who comes to him because he's going to sell them.
Yeah.
If they think that they want a resurfacing or whatever, he's going to sell them to something bigger because that's what is going to be a better investment, return on investment for them.
Yeah.
And so my question for you is, do you get people in the door that have a smaller budget, and then after you speak with them and they don't know what they don't know, are you able to get them to a higher project or a bigger project that or price point that really fits their needs?
Yes and no. So we're a little bit different than I'd say most companies. We have the benefit of intentionally staying small. We're only doing those 8 to 10 projects a year, and we have I think like 1.2 million followers online. So we're getting a lot of leads through that, where we're getting enough leads. So our problem is, we're trying to use our website to pre-qualify those people, make sure they understand what our typical projects cost, all of this kind of stuff before they contact us. They'd fill out the form. So we probably lose a lot of those people that Deck Pros would say, get all of those people in the door.
Yeah.
I'll talk to them. I just realized I don't have a lot of those people probably could be sold, but I don't really have the time to invest into, selling those people. Our ideal client is somebody that's already been following us. They love what we do, and they want to build something. With that being said,
1.2 million followers, folks.
I never would have thought, just from doing deck and patio videos. It's crazy, but with that being said, still, I mean, every project we do, the number that we end up on is more than they thought or budgeted for. Like when they, when we start the design consultation process, it's like, I'll kind of coach them on, based on what we talked about, like this is kind of the range that you'll be in. That's always more than they usually expected. So they're like, okay, well, that's fine. And then we'll start the design process, and then they start to really live through the design and say, oh, well, if we're going to have this, then we should probably have heaters out here, so we can really enjoy it for more months. And so the number that's on the contract is always at least 99% of the time more than they thought they were going to spend. But we want to make sure we're doing it in a way that we give them all the options so that they can make an educated decision, because I don't want to be there by the time we get there building it and we have pressured them and oversold them and they feel overextended. Like, I want them to be completely comfortable with the investment that they're making so that we can come do our job. Everybody's happy. It's a great experience. And they still end up, they get excited about it. They want to add stuff, and it ends up being more expensive than we initially set out for when it started. Yeah.
Because they're not a outdoor living designer, right? Like they don't know all of the things that are going to make it what they are intended it to be.
Yeah.
And so you really have to consult them on those things. And plus, if you're going to drop, tens of thousands of dollars and you're going to have this for a while, like you might as well go all in, right? Like, or at least get consulted on how to do it in phases. Definitely.
And I think a lot of people, once they start going down the road of initiating a project, they realize even reskinning a deck, it's still a pretty big investment. There's no unless you're just gonna stain over what's there and it's a wood deck and you're gonna wash it and stain it. other than that, like it's going to be expensive. It's a pretty big investment. So whether it's $20,000 or $50,000, like 20 is still a lot. 50 is more, but depending on who you're talking to, when they look at that, okay, I could spend 20 and I might get another 10 years out of it because the substructure is already 30 years old. Why don't I make a bigger investment? I can enjoy it more. We can change the layout. We can, expand on the size and change things up, and it'll also last for a really long time. So
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, my takeaway is, I mean, you have to earn the privilege. You know what I mean? Like, it just goes back to what I said before. Like, you're not going to be able, like, your problem is that you don't have a lead problem. So you get to be selective, right? Like, your problem is your time and where it goes, And so it's so interesting. I mean, we exclusively work with deck builders, and you would think that it was the same, like, rinse, wash, and repeat for everyone, but it is not. And a lot of people ask us about exclusivity. They don't want us working with, like, their competition, but it doesn't matter. And I if you're interested to know more about that, I'll tell you. But I will say just one thing, like, it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, because every builder does things differently. They specialize in things differently. Their approach is different. How long they've been in business is different. How much authority they've built. Like, everything is totally different. And so the problems are different, and so I also want to say, you cannot compare yourself to other people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, every business is at a different level. And so if you feel like, you're supposed to be like that person or whatever, you just can't do that. I'm a coach. Well, I'm just starting to be a coach, and a group I'm in, the 7-figure agency for other agency owners. And the biggest piece of advice that I could always give new people that join the coaching program is, don't compare yourself to other people. Because there are people that are titans that are making multi-million dollars, and you're not. Like, a lot of those people work 1 million hours. What do you want out of life? For me, I want to make enough money that I can show the world to my kids. And I don't want to work 1 million hours, because I like to ride dirt bikes and surf and do things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, like, you don't know what goes on behind the scenes. And so you just have to understand that everybody has their own journey, and they're in a different place. And so you can't compare 100%. Apples to apples.
Yeah. And I think it's like the fastest way to just like be a depressed, anxious person is comparing yourself to other people. And I find it helpful for myself. Like, there's no reason to take yourself like super serious. Like, I'm just building backyards to the best of my ability. I'm trying my best. I'm trying to have fun while I do it. I'm trying to, get satisfaction out of each project. And that's my goal. It's not like to be the best deck builder in the world, 'cause it's like, what does that even mean? Number one. And second, who cares? And third, I'm just building decks and patios. Like, I always say there's people building skyscrapers out there. Like, I'm just doing like this tiny little thing in the grand scheme of things, and I'm trying to have fun with it. I'm trying to do my best and pursue my passion, and that's it. That's the name of the game. As soon as you start comparing yourself to other people, or like, oh, once I get to this level, it's like, then you're just like putting the carrot in front of the horse, and you never get, like, there is no destination. It's you're not enjoying the journey either. So
and the problems don't get easier. You just get more of them.
Yeah.
And they change. Like, the problems just change.
Yeah.
So we should get to some of these questions. I mean, we're almost at time. I don't know if we could steal you for a few more minutes. Do you have a hard stop?
I got nothing to do. I have nothing to do.
I'm jealous. I am jealous.
My team is probably so excited that I am occupied right now. I will not be bothering them.
They're like, look, we could focus.
Yeah.
I'm the same way, man. I'm like,
I
just have so many ideas, and I'm just like all the time with my team. I probably love it when I'm on vacation. So Bobby did ask, he saw a report about how spending has slowed since the government shutdown. Have you seen any drop in leads recently?
We definitely have. But I think it is from like the COVID surge, it is
Mhm,
that has died down and gone away. I mean,
mhm,
at a certain point, we were getting so many that it was just ridiculous. I mean, every builder was getting more leads than they could
mhm,
handle, and everybody wanted something done. So I think it's like reverting back to kind of the norm, the average. What that's kind of how I'm looking at it. We'll see in a couple years, if it continues to go down. But we still have enough leads coming in that we can still go through our process and be pretty selective and all that kind of stuff.
mhm,
Um, Through my talks with other builders that I know that are doing higher volume, they're having to do a little bit more to sell the jobs or to
mhm,
get the leads. And I think it's just a natural byproduct of what we went through the last couple of years. I
mhm,
think too many business owners got too comfortable with you could almost sell
mhm.
anything if you had the availability. And now the economy slowed down a little bit,
Mhm.
like, and a lot of people already got their backyards done, so like they're out of the pool of new clients, and the clients have a little bit more power where they can have the ability to choose and vet contractors a little bit more because not everybody is booked out for a year and a half like they were a couple years ago. So
Right.
um, definitely noticing a little bit of a slowdown in leads, but I think it's is probably like you know what what you should be expecting at this point. But that's just in my experience. So
Yeah. No, I mean, as a marketing agency that works with builders across the country, we've had to now we haven't raised our pricing, but we're doing double the amount of work that we used to.
yeah,
Because it's totally changed, the amount people are willing to pay, how they find businesses. It's all completely changed. And we actually have, I wrote an article. I can't find the link right now, but I wrote an article on AI disruption and how it's impacted everything. And so if you go to our growth hub, which is our resource section on deckbuildermarketers.com, you'll find that. And I really recommend that anybody read that. It's really important to know because there are a couple of changes we've had to make. And the one is we need larger ad spend now. It costs more. We have to produce triple the amount of content and just work a hell of a lot harder with everything that we do. And the third is we actually do growth workshops with our clients, and we have a whole client success hub because we are demanding more out of our deck builders. Like you can't just expect everything to be spoon fed to you. Like
yeah,
you need to look at your website every once in a while, and you need to see if the work that you have up there still represents the work that you want to get now.
yeah,
You have to take really good pictures of your work. You have to reply to reviews. You have to ask for reviews.
yeah,
Um, and they just, a lot of our clients got away with, just relying on us for everything. And it's not like that anymore. It takes a lot more. And so
yeah,
sorry to say, like we do a great job, but you have to know how to sell, you
yeah,
know?
yeah. I mean, there's so many different facets that go into landing that job, and like what you just said with do the pictures on your website represent the type of jobs that you want now is so relevant because I get asked a lot of times, like I said, how do you sell these projects? I got nobody calling me for this really cool stuff. And then like I go on their website or their social media and it's like, well, if I was looking for something really unique and different, I'm looking at your stuff and it's all kind of cookie cutter. Not that you're not capable or able to build this crazy stuff. I'm sure you are. There's so many builders out there that are just able to do way more than what they're building now, but a client's not gonna see that potential in you. They're gonna say, "Oh, well, this isn't exactly what I'm looking for something a little bit different or more unique." I'm gonna
Mhm,
keep scrolling on by, find somebody else. So it's like that's your billboard out to the world.
mhm,
So like if you want a crazy, $250,000 backyard remodel, put some pictures up that
mhm,
look like that. So people that are looking for that huge project are like, oh yeah, this looks like what I'm looking for.
mhm.
I don't think enough people realize that that your brand is this collection of assets mostly that you have online, and you need to take a fresh look at that every once in a while and say, if I was a new client that was just surfing the web and I got to either this Instagram page or this website, what would I think about it? And if you do that regularly, you start to make changes, and you start to correlate things like, oh, I changed all this stuff on my website. Now I'm getting more leads about the stuff that I really want to do. So, super, super valid what you said there. And I think a lot more people can heed that advice that you gave.
Yeah, we're always trying to stay ahead, like we have a service, but at the end of the day, it's a product, right? And so how can we make that the very best product, service, whatever you want to call it, at the end of the day? And so we're always trying to be innovative and just add more too, right? And so I just recently did we call it Brand Story Day, and it's a multimedia day where I go out and I creative direct a video and photo shoot. And so it's really about telling their story. Like they end up getting a really good 2 to 4 minute video that really talks about their story and how they do things differently. And we do drone footage and clips with their work and all of these things, because again, people are ADD. They don't have a lot of time. Like if you can tell them everything and sell them in a 2 to 4 minute video, you're going to be a lot better off. If you really want $50,000, like minimum $50,000 project, these are the things that you need. You need to elevate. And I hate that I say that word because it's such a ChatGPT word, but you have to elevate your brand and put and invest in it and get really good pictures of your work and have video and stuff like that in order to really earn that trust and help people understand why they should be spending that amount of money with you.
Yeah, I think the word trust is so important there. The more expensive the projects you want to do, the more the client has to feel like they can trust you with that investment. And in my opinion, I think people would spend 25, 50% more just if they're very, very, very sure that they're going to get what they want from this person over taking that bit of a chance. Even if it's a lot cheaper, if they don't have that same trust level in the finished product or the experience, they're going to go with, most of the time, the one that they feel like they can really trust. And like you said earlier, people are doing so much more research. You have to develop that trust before you can get in front of them. A lot of people think, just get me in front of the client and I'll sell them on whatever. It's becoming harder and harder to get in front of a client to be able to do that, because people have already whittled down their list to a couple finalists before they're reaching out to anybody. They want to feel like they can trust these couple people that they're going to call and then invite them into their home or however their design process works, and not feel like they're being sold to.
Yeah. We have 4 pillars to our system, and it's visibility, leads, obviously, trust, and success. The success is how we do things differently with our coaching and stuff like that. But the reason it's like that is because you have to understand that the experience that a homeowner has with you starts before they even meet you. It's how you earn that trust when they're stalking you, like when they're looking for somebody and then they follow you for a while before they decide that they want to work with you. All of that goes together. And so I would recommend anybody really sit down and think of what the experience would be like for their potential client in the way that you position yourself through your marketing once they get to your website, how you answer the phone, how you are helpful with them and consultative with them during sales, how you give them that warm and fuzzy when they put a deposit down and you're not going to work with them for 4 months. What are you doing to make them still have that trust and that investment? How you show up to the job. Are people smoking? Do they have their shirts on? Like, is it messy? You know what I mean? Like, I can keep going, but there are so many touch points that they have, and it starts with your marketing and your branding,
Yeah.
And all of that, if you could get all of that right, then it will get you more referrals, which everyone's so proud of. I mean, referrals are good, but I will tell you guys, there's still referrals are still going to go and check you up online and see what your reviews and everything are, you
Yeah.
know?
And word of mouth is so different from what it was before. It's not like, hey, we had this person do this. Here's the phone number. Just call and then they'll come out to your house. It's like, oh, here, I'll send you the link to the Instagram, or, here's the
Yeah.
website. So it's everything has changed, and you have to just evolve with it, really,
Mhm.
or you get left behind because people are buying differently. And as much as what we provide is a product, there is a final product that is in your backyard forever. But as much as we're selling that final product, we're also selling the experience. Like,
Mhm.
they know that it's going to be a big project. We're going to be there for a long time. So what's the experience going to be like, and how can we make that exciting, fun, as least disruptive to their lifestyle as possible, making sure we set the expectations of what it's going to be like. Here are some things to expect. Here are, some, issues that you might have to work around. Like, hey, we're going to need to completely commandeer the driveway for these couple days while we get started. And really communicating all that stuff is so
Mhm.
important. And if you start to think about it, like, especially on a larger scale project that you're selling an experience just as much as a product, it might change the way that you do things and the way that you interact with potential clients, because a lot of people want that experience just as
Mhm.
much as they want the final product.
Well, I call it the warm and fuzzy, but it's about reinforcing the value so they don't have buyer's remorse and setting the right
Yeah.
expectations,
Yeah.
because people don't know what they don't know. I mean, I'm getting construction done in my house, and there were a lot of things I didn't understand. Like, I didn't understand why they couldn't work on a few things at the same time,
Yeah.
And so they had to explain that to me. It would have been nice if they would have explained that in the beginning, because then I wouldn't be sitting here freaking out that everything's taking so long. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I think that is really what separates the big dogs from the small dogs, are the ones that have that experience and they know how to mitigate things and communicate in a way that is going to ensure that the client has that value and the trust on, as you go through the project.
Yeah, yeah. I think the more that you can communicate, the better. I think it was John Lee said this to me, that, like, he's never had a client say, "Oh, you guys communicated too much," and that's like so true. You can never, and especially now, like, people want communication. They might not want to talk to you directly, but they want the information communicated throughout the entire process. Like, when I go to uh, order something on Amazon, I'm gonna check to see, oh, it's out for delivery. It's this. You
Yeah.
order DoorDash, and you're watching the driver, drive down the street on GPS. Like, people want feedback, and
Hmm.
they want to know where they stand and where the project's at. So the more that you can involve communication into your process, the better.
Hmm.
And even if it's something that might be an issue or a problem, most clients are completely fine with it as long as it's communicated in a way that they don't feel like you were trying to leave something out, or hide something from them. So that's always been my approach, is try to communicate as much as possible. And the biggest selling point for us, and like experience thing that our clients love, is that we only work on one job at a time.
Hmm.
That is like the biggest gripe of every construction
Yes.
company in the world, is like, oh, they were
Right.
here and then I don't know where,
Yeah.
they didn't come this week. I thought they were
That's so
doing the
good.
floor, you know, and I understand that certain trades, they might have to be like that because of inspections and all this kind of stuff. I think most of that can be mitigated, and 90% of it's just an excuse. But uh, if you're not going to be there, communicate that with the client. Like,
Hmm.
hey, we're waiting for this inspection. We'll be back
Yeah.
as soon as it's done.
Hmm.
Most of the time, you're not there because you're just behind and you're working on another project, and you're going to use excuses to try to get the client off your back. Don't try
Hmm.
to be that person. Like,
Yeah.
just because it doesn't do anything good for your company or the client. Just do one project at a time, unless you have the capability to have a second crew that can handle that job and do that job one at a time. So
Yeah.
that's by far the biggest feedback that we get is, you guys were here every day. I knew I was going to look outside by 8 a.m. You guys were going to be here and you guys were going to be working. So I always knew something was getting done. And that way they don't care as much about how long it's taking, because they know you're there every day. They know you're working on it.
And, that's really good. Like, I would say that probably a lot of homeowners, unless they've been, they've had a construction project of some sort done before, they wouldn't know to ask somebody if they work on one project at a time. So again, like your website should prime your prospects. So if you address all of that stuff straight on, you have an FAQ section or like something that just says, hey, like, want to be as helpful as possible when you're talking to builders, like make sure that you ask these things. Yeah. And then they're like, okay, like you've just made this super easy for me because I would have never thought of any of those things. You know what I mean? So tip number 2, I guess, from April during this podcast is like, map out your customer journey, but also think about all the things that you wish your homeowners knew before they got on the phone with you, and make sure that your website talks about those things in some way, shape, or form. And even another thing is, after they fill out your form, send them a confirmation email that tells them those things and like what they need to prepare for in the initial consultation and stuff like that. Just make it easy for them, Yeah.
Yeah. Like you're holding their hand through the whole process, but also doing it in a way that's sort of hands off, where it's like you're providing the information, but it's not like you're calling them and like, hey, just want to make sure you got that thing. Like, there's so many things that can be automated, and, just arm them with the information that they need, and it's going to make them have a better experience. It's going to make your life a lot easier because you're not going to waste as much time. And something else I wanted to say, because it's just something that I get all the time, is I think a lot of builders like don't understand that clients don't know most things. Like, I hear all the time that it's a huge red flag if the client won't give me their budget. And it's like, well, they've probably never had a project like this built before. So how are they supposed to even know what their budget should be? Like, it's your job as the expert to guide them there. So that's always like a very integral part of our initial design consultation. We talk about all the ideas, and then we get, okay, well, have you guys started to think about a budget? Have you gotten any other quotes? Like, where are you at with that? Or do you need some guidance on that? And I don't know if I've ever had anybody say, this is our budget and we've really thought it out and it needs to be right in here because I know what things cost. It's always like, yeah, I don't know. We're not really sure. We kind of, I don't know. We have like sort of some guesses of what it might cost, but we have no idea. And I'm like, okay, perfect. Yeah. I didn't expect you to know. Yeah. Based on our conversation, you're looking at somewhere in this range. We can design to a certain budget, but I just want to make sure that your expectations of what we're going to come back with are in line with what you want to spend. So if you want to spend $100,000, you might be looking at something like this. Yeah. If you want to spend $50,000, you're going to be looking at something like this. Do either of those things sound good? Maybe somewhere in between. Maybe we start with 50 and we can add stuff to get to 100 if you like what you see at 50. But like, that's your job as the expert, is to walk them through the process and give them the information. So,
and spoken like a true pro that has been here and done this, and I'm like I'm coming to you as the homeowner. Like, I trust you because you're not beating around the bush with me. Like, you're just being upfront and addressing this so that you're not wasting any of our time, and you're being really helpful.
Yeah. And it's like, there's no reason to not be super direct with it, because it's like, the things cost what they cost. And it's like, it's not like you have this sliding scale of like, oh, well, I'm going to try to sell them at 100,000, but I could really do it at 50. I mean, I'm sure there's a couple of those people out there, but like, it's your job to just let them know what the things cost so that they can make an educated decision on what they can afford, and does it align with the expectation of what they want to get out of it. So like, I never understand when people have such a gripe with that thing where the client won't tell them a budget, because it's like, they don't know. And the budget is usually 90% of the time it's loose. It's like, we want to spend this, like, that's not every single dime that we have. We could spend more if we see something we like and we start,
Yeah.
expanding on it. So another piece of advice.
That was really good.
Educate them.
So, yeah, that was really good. Thanks so much for sharing that. I think everybody could use advice when it comes to sales in general. And so I appreciate that. All right, we got to get to some of these comments here. Okay, where do I start? Okay. Oh, I had this one up for a little bit and then I realized I never took it down. But he said, where did it go? I'm sorry, I got to sort through all of these. So D Heidel Coach, do you know who this is?
No.
Okay, well, he's he, she, I don't know, they. How do you have time to record all of these videos? Ha ha ha.
It's a lot of work. I mean, and we're putting out a lot of content now more than we did in the past. So now we have a full-time videographer as one of our 6 crew members. So one person is in charge of doing all of the shooting and editing and all that stuff. Initially, when I started doing it, I was doing it all myself. It was before I had kids. And again, it was something that it was another creative outlet for me. So I enjoyed doing it. I loved it. It was actually really hard for me to give up control of that because I liked it. I had so much fun with it. So I think depending on where you are in your journey, if you can afford to hire a videographer, don't expect the payoff to be immediate. Like you need to give it like a year to start building up. It's a snowball effect with social media, especially on the organic side. So like make sure you have a long runway with that. Or if you don't have the money and you're on the job site every day and you have an interest in the creative element of filming stuff and editing, then do it yourself, because then you're going to have more of a runway to see the results. And most importantly, like, make sure you're enjoying it. That's going to make the content better. It's going to make, you have a better time doing it, more likely to do more of it. And it takes time. It's such a snowball effect. You got to just start doing it and let it grow on its own. And it can be slow.
And consistency is key, right?
Yeah, 100%. And realize, like, most people are so scared to like jump into starting content creation. And it's like, they're like, I don't know what to do. And it's like, well, yeah, because you haven't done it before, but don't worry. Like, no offense, no one's going to watch it in the beginning because like nobody knows that you make videos and like, you haven't built the audience yet. So I always took a lot of solace in that when I first started. It's like the beginning, it's like there's not a lot of people watching it, and that's good because you're still figuring out, your the voice of your brand or what the video should be like and how to make it more entertaining and educational and all of this kind of stuff. So like you're growing with the audience and getting better as you go. And then by the time hopefully you do get a lot more views, it's a product that accurately depicts who you are, who you want to be, how you want to be represented and all that kind of stuff. So just realize not a lot of people are going to watch it in the beginning. So you don't have to be worried about it. And
I always say, and you're going to suck at first.
Yeah.
We suck at everything the first time we do something.
Yeah.
And if you don't look back 6 months from then and say, man, that was terrible, you're not growing. If you're not embarrassed by it, you're not growing.
And you might continue to suck at making content forever. And that might just turn into your thing where you're like just this awkward like content person, and people will be like, this is funny. This person, they're so like uncomfortable on camera, and that becomes your thing. Like just
be real. Yeah.
Just be real and embrace it. And like, don't try to be somebody else because that person is already doing that thing. And
thank you.
I don't know. I just try to be myself, and I'm very, I make mistakes all the time. And one of my main like things about like the brand messaging that we want is like, I want people to watch what we do and see how we do it, and then say to themselves like, wow, if this guy can do it, I think I can do it. So like, nobody knows what they're doing. Nobody's really that good at everything. Just I don't know. Don't be afraid to just try it and see how it goes. I
always say this. People are probably going to get sick of me saying it, but so I have a regular column in the Deck Specialist magazine, and at the end of all of my columns, I say keep moving forward. And the reason being is because there's never going to be a perfect time to start to do something. You're never going to be like perfect. Honestly, now I'm going to derail. So, I'm a believer, and I accepted Jesus, I don't know, like 10 years ago or something like that. And it took me forever to get baptized because I felt like I was supposed to be like some sort of perfect Christian or something before I would do that. Which it's like, if Jesus were here, he'd be like, what the heck's wrong with you? Like that's why you're a Christian. Like you want to be more like Jesus. It doesn't mean that you're ever going to get close. You know what I mean? And so I had to finally realize like I'm never going to be this ideal thing of whatever it is. And so it's the same with, what you're saying with social and everything. It's like, just be who you are. Like, don't be anybody else, because in my opinion, how God made you is so beautiful, and you need that to shine with whatever's authentic with you. So you've just given so many good nuggets here. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate that. I don't know if they're great nuggets or not, but it's just I want more people to just like, I think there's too many people presenting this facade that like they have it all figured out, and that you just have to, like, I don't know, buy this course or something and then you'll have it figured out too. It's like, no, it's it's just a journey, and you're never gonna like get to a point where you're good at everything. You just have to embrace that, you're just comparing yourself to who you were yesterday or last week or whatever the saying is. And like, but that's true. Like, you're just trying to get better, and like, you can consistently get better and like be proud of what you're doing. I think that's kind of the key to it. Like,
that's great.
That's what it's all about. And try to have fun.
Yeah. Yep. All right, we got to get to some of these questions. So, Daniel said, what have you learned in your social media journey? Is there a specific type of content or videos that resonate better with your audience?
So I've learned a lot. I try not to, worry too much about like, why did this video do good and this one didn't do good? Because you'll just drive yourself nuts. I think with our audience, just builders in general, I think if we try to have a mix of, we try to say it's like a content triangle, and it's like this old house, HGTV, and The Office. So I'm like Michael Scott, the guy that, acts like an idiot, but then like somehow comes out with like something brilliant every once in a while. You're like, oh wow, that's why he's the boss. And then we have like the HGTV element, which I feel like is more of the inspirational, like, finished photography and the finished product that's gonna, somebody's gonna want to pin to their Pinterest board. And then we have this old house part where it's like really engaging educational tips and tricks for doing, a project, and different pieces of content in those different categories will, randomly do really well or not so well. So we've tried to just keep it narrow to those things that we think our audience is going to get value out of, and not like, there's a lot of noise out there on the internet, like, and just in the world in general. So one of my things recently is like, try not to just add to that noise just for the sake of being there. Like, if we're gonna create something, it should have a purpose. Like, somebody should get something out of it, whether it's just entertainment or it's education or it's inspired by a design. Like, make sure it has a purpose.
I love that. I feel like we all have that responsibility not to add noise. So everyone listening, we're doing live talk here. This podcast is about live talk.
Yeah. We're going to solve all the problems pretty soon.
But what I think what I was also hearing is that you diversify your content too. It's not always the same thing. So it keeps it interesting for different folks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
All right. So Bobby's asking, if you are doing 8 to 10 projects a year, how long is your average project?
Most of our projects are somewhere between 6 and 8 weeks. That's kind of the average. So, depending on what projects we get a certain year, we might only do 6 projects a year. Like the last one we were just on, took like 10 weeks. So it varies. Hasn't been many recently that are less than 4 weeks. So usually it's somewhere in that 4 to 10.
Okay, cool. And I'm laughing because this comment came in from Nassim. Nassim's our SEO guy. He's such a sweetheart. And so, like I said, my team listens in because they learn as well. But he said, is it just me or does this sound more like influencer wisdom than deck building tips? Grin. Not complaining though. Truth bombs are being dropped.
Yeah, we haven't really talked too much about deck building at all, but I feel like most people that probably listen to your podcast and all that kind of stuff, like that's probably the part that they really have down already is building the deck.
Yeah.
Like, that part is they could do that better than anybody out there, myself included. So, yeah, hopefully, I don't know, this weird
bombs,
wisdom or whatever is helping some people out. I don't know.
Okay, Liliana said, if you could automate one part of your workflow, quotes, follow-ups, or social media, which one would you pick first? Interesting.
This is really good. I would say quotes. If I could integrate, and I don't want to say if I could, because anything's possible.
Yeah, right.
If I put in the time to develop this system where I could design something and it's automatically populating the price right there so I can make changes on the fly instead of, kind of getting close with a design and then sort of pricing it out and saying like, all right, we're a little bit over budget. Like if it could, as I'm building it in the software, it could in real time populate the pricing and quote, that would be great.
That reminds me of something we were talking about. I was mentioning that Andy Henley is going to be speaking at DeckExpo about AI, and he came on the podcast. And one thing that really stuck out to me that I think is important for other people to hear is he leverages it for an initial kind of mock-up of the design. So he'll go and have the in-home consultation, and he'll like have the consultation with the client, and then he'll feed ChatGPT all of the information and with pictures of the space and have it do an initial mock-up of the project. And it takes a while to render. If you guys have ever used it takes a little bit to render. So while he's waiting for ChatGPT to do its thing, he goes and puts the quote together. So in barely any time at all, and he says most of the time the output of the GPT, which by the way, guys, like you really have to train it and you have to figure out like how to say what needs to be said in order to get what you want out of it. Like we're kind of pilots. And anyway, so at the home and the initial consultation, he's got a nice price range and a visual of what the project's going to look like. Isn't that cool?
That's super interesting. I'm actually shocked to hear that because I know he's like an artistic guy. So I'm surprised that he's like, I'm going to show the client anything before like I would imagine him out there with, colored pencils and all this stuff, drawing everything out. So I'm really interested to hear what he's got to say about it.
Yeah. Well, go to his talk. Go to his talk. Yeah. I don't know when it is. This is about promoting you, by the way, not Andy.
Well, this might be better. I don't know. Sounds pretty good.
Fander21 said, as we're getting closer to winter, slow season, how do you keep your crew busy and motivated? Do you have like an action plan for the next busy season?
So again, this is where it is a benefit that we are a smaller crew. So, and that we're booked out pretty far. So like we're already booked out through the winter this year. So we just keep going straight through the winter. So keeping them busy isn't an issue. Keeping them motivated, in New Jersey, it gets pretty cold. Not as cold as, I don't know. There's probably, I know a lot of deck builders in Canada, they're still building in 2 feet of snow, but in Jersey, it feels way too cold to be working, but we still are out there. So keeping morale and motivation up can be, tricky, I guess, just knowing when to say, all right, we're gonna cut the day short because it's freezing or whatever. But luckily, we stay busy, and the whole team is really pretty self motivated. So I don't have to do a whole lot of that.
Yeah. Because he's invested in his team and he's got good culture.
Or I
And they
just
like
got
working
or I
for
just
him.
got lucky. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Well, you seem like a pretty real dude, so I think
I try to be, yeah,
they
but
probably
I
really
can I
enjoy.
can be, I can probably be really annoying to work for just with my all over energy, and
Yeah. But
so
that's all of
I'm
us.
very lucky.
Entrepreneurs are very ADD and shiny object, squirrel, squirrel. Like it's just a
Oh
very
yeah,
normal thing.
yeah,
And we're really, really good at quick start. So starting something and then like getting distracted and wanting to go start on something new because the
yeah.
starting part is the fun part.
Oh, it's so exciting. Yeah. Oh, for sure. I feel understood. I feel understood.
So Fander21 said, love that example, tracking your package where my stuff is, laugh out loud.
Yeah. It's true. You start thinking about like your own experience with how you interact with buying something, like, on Amazon or DoorDash, and like if you can, you're not going to be able to have a GPS, look like we are 4 months out from building your project, but we're moving slowly closer. But like if you can understand some of those elements and communicate it to the client and know that they're curious and they'll appreciate any updates as frequent as you can give them, it's going to lead to a better experience.
I just got a brilliant idea that I'm not going to share because you
Okay,
have to be a
perfect.
client to work with us. But I have to tell Natalia right now. So there's going to be some awkward silence while I type this.
It's
Okay.
oh
Okay,
oh
cool.
oh, I have access to this private chat.
Yeah. Okay. Don't say it out
Okay.
loud.
Oh yeah. Well, you didn't. I mean, it's almost written in code, so I won't even
It
understand
is written in
until you
code.
guys
Yeah.
really until
Pizza
you guys hash
tracker.
it out. Yeah.
I'll share it. And anybody could like let me know if they know what that means. But
Yeah.
if you
Are you
step
talking about
into the
Domino's
mind of
Pizza
April
Tracker?
Edwards. What's that?
Are you talking about Domino's Pizza Tracker?
Shh. Yes.
Okay. I love Domino's. I call it Domino's because it makes it sound a little bit more fancy.
Yeah.
And I love Domino's. It's so great because it's just so easy to order, and their thin
See,
crust is so great. I love
the
it.
experience is great.
One
And they're
thing that
reliable too.
I know I'm just not sure about. Somebody brought it to my attention. They have the pizza tracker and they say, okay, Molly is preparing your order.
Yeah.
They just put it in the oven. Bonnie's doing a quality check right now. I'm not sure if that's actually what's happening.
No.
I think it,
No, it's not.
I was really disappointed to hear that. I think they just kind of start a process and then
Molly doesn't even work there.
it slowly goes through those stages randomly until it gets into a car to go to you. So I still am holding out hope that Bonnie's really doing a quality check on my pizza.
You formed a relationship. You said Bonnie indirectly. You formed a relationship.
Yeah. That's a real name that it says on the app too. So like that is, I'm pretty sure, a real person.
So Nassim said, are those social posts driving traffic to your site, or do you keep it all on platform? What's your top lead source beyond social and referrals? And how do you turn those cold viewers into paying clients?
Great question. So I find that most of the action is going to happen on the site that they either follow us or find us. The top lead source beyond social and referrals is probably just our Google My Business thing, which we really don't invest much time or we could do a lot more with that. But how do you turn those cold viewers into paying clients? That's interesting because we don't want to turn a cold viewer into a paying client. We want a cold viewer to become a warm viewer, to become a burning hot viewer and really want to hire us. And, because of the way we've built our business, we're able to do it like that. Higher volume companies, aren't going to, I don't want to say not have that luxury, but they're not going to want to, let that lead cook for so long and potentially just go somewhere else. So like we have that ability to do that, and it's really great for us because not only do they really understand the type of projects we build, but they understand the whole experience, that they're going to be able to like, they're going to watch our YouTube videos and know that we're going to be filming stuff and putting out videos about the project. So if somebody is a viewer of that stuff, they're going to be excited about the fact that we're making videos. If it's just somebody random that doesn't know anything about us, they'll be like, why are you guys filming this? Like, what's happening? It seems like you guys were just filming a clip for like 15 minutes and not working. It seems like what's going on? If it's somebody that follows us, they're like, oh my God, I can't wait to visually watch the build unfold through YouTube, and that allows them to share it with their friends and their coworkers and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, we don't want any cold clients. We want them hot.
Yeah. So I always say, like, us as marketers, we're trying to prime leads into prime them for sales, right?
Yeah.
And I would say everything that you do ultimately is more than that. It's like you're really trying to mold you're trying to mold them to be your ideal customer.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. You want them, before they make that first action, you want them to already be pre-qualified to an extent. If that's the way that you want to go about it. And that's how we want to do it. We want anyone that like, we almost want to make it difficult to reach out to us and jump through hoops and do all this stuff, so that by the time you do that, we know that you are a burning hot lead and you really want to work with just us. A lot of people aren't going to want to do that, and it's not the right approach for them because they want higher volume and they need to convert these people and have somebody actively sell them, which is totally fine. It's we do it a little bit different, and because of the way we've built our business, we can, but that way we know by the time they reach out, like, they understand what we do, who we are, how much the projects typically cost, that they're going to have to pay for a design, all of these things. And if they still reach out to us, we know, okay, this is a pretty good lead.
Yep. Love it. Jesse says, y'all are making me hungry. And I have to admit,
me too.
I'm making myself hungry.
Yeah.
Who's eating pizza for lunch? I do have, let's see here. I've got your Instagram up. It's Premier Outdoor if you want to check out his Instagram if you haven't already. But guess what? We're an hour and 40 minutes into this podcast. And congratulations. This is the longest podcast I think I've ever had. So hopefully it's interesting for people. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah. One of the things I am good at is just blabbering on. So I'm right in my wheelhouse right now. I can chat it up with the best of them. So
own your strengths, right?
Yeah. And we didn't talk about the presentation that I'll be doing at DeckExpo at all. And that was intentional because we wanted to leave it as a cliffhanger. You're going to have to wait and go to DeckExpo to see the presentation in person. But it's going to be very interesting. So choosing the right pressure treated wood for your. Is this the first time I've said it? I think so. Yeah. Yep.
So in case you didn't know, this is this is one of the episodes in our DeckExpo series, and we're bringing people on to talk about them being there and what they have going on, people that are speaking and manufacturers that have booths and things like that. And so this podcast was supposed to be about Sean's talk, which is choosing the right pressure treated wood for your project, which is on Thursday, October 23rd at 2:15 and N258. Is that on the floor? Do you know?
I have no idea. To be honest.
Yeah, we'll figure the logistics will happen later. But do you want to at least say something about the talk in terms of what you'll, like something that people will take away, or just, anything?
Yeah. So, there's a lot of different options for building a deck, especially with alternative framing options coming out. And I think there's a lot to be discussed about, what are the pros to using pressure treated wood. It's kind of a tried and true material that has been used and out in the world for a long time. And especially with a lot of like the economic concerns that people are talking about right now, like there is a hard stop for a lot of people where, yes, there's value in alternative options and higher end materials and all of this stuff, but there's a limit somewhere. And I think that understanding the different types of pressure treated wood and making sure that you're choosing the right one for your project ensures that it's going to last long, it's going to be built properly, and you're going to get that value that you're kind of going after by choosing pressure treated over something like steel or composite framing, because the cost can be extremely high. And we've been using pressure treated for the whole run of our business, and we've been happy with it. And it I think provides a lot of good value, but there are some things to understand about different grades, different treatments, all that kind of stuff. So we'll be talking about all of that, and maybe it'll be just like this podcast, and we won't talk about that at all. We'll just talk about life. I don't know. You'll have to
some life knowledge bombs.
Yeah.
I love it. So, hey, we do have some good feedback here. Naseem said that I was truly invested throughout the entire podcast. Thank you, April and Sean. That was incredidly helpful. So.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. I had a great time chatting. It went way faster than it doesn't feel like we've been talking for an hour and 40 minutes, but
right.
Hopefully everybody got something out of it, or maybe just it was nice to fall asleep to. I don't know. Either way, I'm just glad that you're here with us.
So definitely follow Sean at Premier Outdoor on Instagram. You could go to his website, Premier Outdoor Living LLC.com. Any final words of wisdom, or any other places people can connect with you?
You can just search Premier Outdoor Living on Google, or maybe on AI, and all our stuff will come up. And final thoughts. If you're listening to this, you're doing great out there. You're doing a great job, and keep going. Wait, that's your thing. That's what you say, right?
Keep moving forward. Yeah.
Keep moving forward. Okay. Yeah. You're doing a great job, and keep moving forward. That's it.
Well, Sean, thanks so much for joining us. For listeners attending DeckExpo, don't miss Sean's session, Choosing the Right Pressure Treated Wood for Your Project. It's on Thursday, October 23rd at 2:15. I'm also going to be speaking. I have 2 sessions, Stop Chasing Leads, Create a Marketing System that Brings Clients to You, on Wednesday, October 22nd at 11. And then a couple hours later, I'm going to be talking about winning high-end clients, the art of selling luxury outdoor living, Wednesday at 2 p.m. That's going to be at the outdoor living stage. And while you're at DeckExpo, be sure to stop by our booth at 3115. We've got an amazing marketing ROI calculator. So if you're really interested to know what you should be spending in order to meet your growth goals and what that return on investment would be, stop by. We do it in just a few minutes, and I think you'll find it to be really informative. And then, of course, if you are interested in partnering up with someone like us, we are offering 15% off our setup fee exclusively for DeckExpo attendees. I really, really recommend that you take advantage of that. And we'll also be giving the book out for free. So the Deck Builder Marketing Playbook. So make sure that you stop by. And if you're ready to move your business to the next level, don't forget to book your free strategy session with me at deckbuildermarketers.com/get-started. Sean, thanks again. An hour and 44 minutes. Yeah. I think we killed it.
Yeah. Appreciate it. And I'll see you in a couple of weeks at DeckExpo.
Sounds good.
Yeah. See you later.
Hey, deck building community. Enjoyed the show? Hit subscribe and give us your thoughts. We love hearing from you. Ready to level up your business? Visit deckbuildermarketers.com. Check out our services and let's build your success together. Don't forget to download our free guides. They're a game changer. Thanks for tuning in to We Love Deck Builders, and see you on the next episode.